RNDR is the next cryptocurrency I'll be reviewing today. So big shout out to Giftbox, who's recommended me to review their cryptocurrency. This is a cryptocurrency that had a lot of excitement. I was very excited for this because this is supposed to be the graphical engine that's going to power the metaverse. So it sounds really good on the fundamental side, but let's have a look at a chart. So as usual, I will give you price predictions. I'll compare it to Bitcoin and Ethereum and give you my honest thoughts on what's happening with RNDR at the moment. I'm not just a pump and dump crypto channel. So if that sounds good, smash the like button, give me a subscribe. Let's get through this because the markets are still going down. I said in my last video, and I'll link that above in my market update video, that I still expected there to be a little bit more pain before we start to gain a little bit of momentum on the upside. And lo and behold, we are getting more pain. But let's just zoom out and then we'll work our way in with RNDR against its USD value. So obviously the metaverse was going crazy second half of last year. That was the big narrative. And I mean, RNDR was doing really well, topping it at about $8.81, call it, before breaking down very, very fast, getting a little bit of momentum. Of course, this would have been a very clear indication once we started to go to the 7.5 mark and start to have this double top play out that we were inevitably going to go down. Bounced on the 50%. You know how much I talk about the 50% at $4.58. Of course, bounced around there, ultimately, like a lot of cryptos, fell through it, clean cut, and you can see how well these zones work. Then we start to go to the 375 mark at $3.52. That's this area here, and ultimately breaking down, gained a little bit of momentum, came down. It's really, really important when you look at your crypto, and I can't stress this enough. I know it sounds very, very obvious, but you need to see how many support areas your crypto is breaking, because if it's having to go back to very, very old areas of support, it looks really weak, and you need to be very, very fair and honest with yourself about that judgment. If you're just holding RNDR and you're just gonna, hope for it to come back in the bull market, by all means. But what we're really trying to do with this video is just see how it's played out at the moment and where it's looking like in the near future. So a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, until we start to get a turnaround on some things. No one can predict what's gonna happen in 3, 4, 5 years. You would expect this to be worth much more, but we don't know at the time. I always say cryptocurrency is a technological market. There's always going to be something new. There's going to be a new sort of graphical powerhouse that's going to power the metaverse. That's going to do it more effectively and more better. It's a technology market, okay? So don't think your crypto is going to be up in 5 years from now, because there's going to be other cryptocurrencies that come out, new projects, new venture capitalists, and like I said, new technology. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about holding your crypto for years to come. Anyway, as I was saying, the 2.5 mark basically was a major area of support. That's the last horizontal red line here. This was a very, very crucial point for RNDR to break, and I drew my wedge, managed to break out of it, and then find resistance immediately at the 333 mark at $3.17 before ultimately coming down. And what I don't like about this, look how long we spent on trying to find support on there. We spent basically 1, 2, 3, 4 days before ultimately coming down. So we didn't spend too much longer. When you see a support area break down very, very quickly, only 4 days when it was previously there for, call it almost, basically 2 months. It took 4 days to break this support, which was there for 2 months. Eventually broke down, bounced off the trend, but unfortunately was unable to find support on there long term until we broke down on the 21st of April, and we are on a downtrend. If we have a look at the volume, you can see 10th of April, 11th of April, 12th of April, so 11th and 12th of April, you can see heavy volume, not much volume coming in to support the market. Look how big these volume are. They're above average volume, and you can see the price only went up by 0.46%. So you got massive volume and a very, very low spread. The price didn't change much at all, which is really, really weak. Then you have another day where people are like, this is an awesome price for RNDR. They buy it all up. You get a little bit of a better close at 6%, but it's not much to support the market. And then immediately the next day, you get your downtrend, and then you get heavy sell-offs at the moment with a downtrend to continue. So this is a downtrend. You should not be putting anything at all into RNDR until this changes, because at the moment you have to respect the trend, and this is a downtrend until we start to gain some momentum and start breaking this. Something else to really look for is the other way around, right? When is it going to go up? How is it going to go up? Well, the problem when a crypto is broken down so badly is how much areas it has to go through to find resistance on the way up. So it's going to find resistance at a lot of areas, starting with the 0.25 mark. And these are my price predictions, but it's going to be really, really hard for RNDR to top this. The first area of resistance will be the 2.5 mark, as I mentioned, at $2.46. You can see that this will have a lot of resistance here, a lot of resistance to break through these. So there are people who are going to trade this coin. The whales are going to trade this. They're going to make 60%. Look at that. You can make 64% by just trading into the next area of resistance in this case. And this is how the whales think, right? They don't think, oh my God, I'm just gonna, make a 50,000x or a 20x. They don't care about this. The whales are looking for good percentage gains given the market conditions. And they will be very, very happy with a 65% return in these market conditions. I can guarantee you that. Of course, next area will be the 333 mark at $3.17, and that takes it to 112%. And then we've got the 375 mark at 140%, and of course, major 50% at 200%, increase from where it is at the moment at $4.58. And then you can just see how well these areas work, right? Look at that. That is major resistance there as well. 625 mark at $5.63. And then of course, 75 mark expected to be heavy, heavy resistance at $6.69. And then 875 mark at $7.75. The one mark, which is the all-time high at $8.81. So be very careful. Of course, I know some people might be thinking, I'll just buy it now and just wait for it to go up to the top and there's 450%. Of course, that can happen. But you have to think about a few things. The first thing you have to think about is, can you withstand seeing your portfolio drop against you? Because if you look at where we are now, I'll draw my horizontal line. That's basically where the price is at the moment, that white horizontal line. And you can see basically this is a very, very important market structure for Render to hold up on. So you can see we had some old tops, and you can see we had here as well, and then we had some support back in 2021, at the start of 2021. So this is acting like a very, very important mark for Render to hold on now. The thing, like I said, is that we're still in a downtrend. So once this area is broke, we'll have to go even further and further. And the more further we have to go to look back in the support, the weaker a crypto looks. And like I said, once this starts to break, your portfolio can go against you very quickly. So just even moving to the next zone, you might call it a 20% loss, another down, 30% loss. So you can start losing majorly pretty hard very quickly, 60% loss. And if you start going to the bottom, which would be about a 76% low, which would take you to the 21st of June, that can happen to you. Of course, if we continue to look, you can see there's the January low. I talk about the January low because that was Bitcoin's low for this year. And you can see that Render put in the low there, managed to put in a slightly higher low in the 24th of February. But what makes it look really weak as well, it broke it. It broke those lows, and here we are down. So it's broken a lot of lows. You need to be very, very careful when you're doing it. Nothing wrong with laddering in a little bit, just a couple hundred, maybe a couple grand here and there, not much at all. Be very, very gentle with how much you're putting into it. Not financial advice, but that's how I would approach it. Well, first of all, I wouldn't buy this at all until the trend changes. But if I wanted to, or if I really had to, if I was dead set on this, I'd basically just putting very, very couple hundred just to see how it's reacting, how it's going, and just let the market tell me what to do, because these are very uncertain times at the moment, and they're going to continue for a little while longer. Let's compare Render to its Ethereum value to see the relative strength it has against it. So I normally go on Coin Codex and actually see it, but Render is actually ranked over 2,500 in coin market cap, and I can only see the first 2,000 coins in Coin Codex. So I'm not able to find the actual percentages, but nonetheless, we'll look at a chart. And you can see, actually, Render was actually doing very, very well for a long time against its Ethereum value. I was actually very surprised when I saw this. It was basically up until 2nd of April. It was actually holding up pretty well against its ETH value. And you know how much I love Ethereum, even though it's a boring project and it has gas fees and yada, yada, yada. The important thing is that it's very, very hard for other altcoins to outperform Ethereum consistently. That's the big key word, consistently. So of course, Render was actually able to hold up pretty well against its Ethereum consistently. It's been able to hold up above the yellow area and 375 mark consistently. Of course, April came out, and then of course we just got hit very, very hard, very, very fast. And this is why I say it looks really weak. And you should not be going anything until we start to get a bit of a bottom out. And you can just see how well the charts look. This is against this Ethereum value. There's the top, there's the top, there's the top. So you can see there's a bit of support back in those days there, and you can see a bit of an upthrust happening that day too. So you can see just how well the charts work and why I love them so much, because we're comparing this to Ethereum value, and even when we're comparing them to the USD value, the exact same principles played out the same. The double tops, the triple tops, the support, the volume, everything plays out exactly the same when you start comparing it to other coins. That's why I love the charts. If we compare it to Bitcoin as well, well, we know that Bitcoin generally does worse than Ethereum lately, but this is actually looking a little bit better because you can see it bottomed out a little bit more. But once again, you can see top, and there's the other top. So only two tops in terms of its Bitcoin value, but you can see we just had to really break down after we started to move out of this consolidation zone, going from about February, showing distribution, and then of course the dump. We don't know when this is actually going to start moving it around a little bit more. Maybe we'll start to move within this window, and then of course we may start to get even lower, at which point you might want to be very, very careful with Render. But this can yield really good results, but this is a long-term crypto if you're going to hold it. But like I said, Don't just invest into this crypto thinking it's going to be great for the next 5 years. Crypto is a technology market, guys. I can't stress that enough. There's going to be new and exciting cryptos 6 months from now, 1 year from now, talking about the latest transaction speeds and the latest technology and all this extra funding it's gotten from these venture capitalists. It's going to have so much excitement to it. Everyone is going into the metaverse, and it's really, really hard to pick the winners and the losers. And that's why it's really important to just diversify, but also look at a chart. If it's breaking down like this, why aren't the whales holding it, right? If the whales know that this is going to be the next big thing for the metaverse, why aren't they holding this crypto and not letting it dumped on? And I've shown you other cryptos. Again, I'll link my best strong cryptos of 2022 so far. FTX, R, EGLD, these have actually held it up relatively well considering the pushback, but they haven't broken down as bad as this. So why are they holding those coins but not this? Same thing with Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? Why aren't they bleeding out more than this? There's a reason why this is bleeding out heavily at the moment, and that's because they don't care about it, the whales at the moment. So respect that. Follow the smart money, follow the whales, and you will do very, very well. Put your own opinion aside. Be objective, look at a chart, say, this is a downtrend, I have to respect that, what do I want to do? If you're down 70, 80% on render, what should you do? Ultimate thing you can do, stake it. Stake it, stake it, stake it. You can offset a lot of your losses just by staking. Be careful with how long you stake it for, because sometimes you might get a good run and you might want to sell on that run. But generally at this times, I don't think the market's moving anywhere anytime soon, so you can lock it up for a month or two, maybe 3, and actually get some tokens in your wallet, and that way you'll actually alleviate some of your losses. I would never say sell 80% loss or 90% loss. I just think we're very spoiled in cryptocurrency land, that when the bull market eventually does come, you will be able to recoup it. Unless, of course, you need the money. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know your situation. This is just general information only. Unless you really need it, then you sort of screwed yourself. Maybe you take that as a lesson, and then that's your own personal decision how you want to weigh those losses. But nonetheless, it's a good coin to look into, and just another example of an altcoin breaking down. And not all altcoins break down this bad. I want to stress that. Even though the market conditions are down, not all altcoins do break down this badly. Some I've seen worse. This is one of the more slightly worse ones. But what I'm trying to say is that there are some other altcoins that aren't pulling back as hard. And that's really what you're looking for. Yes, everything's moving downwards. Everything's getting hit. But how hard are they getting hit? That's the question. That's the question to really think about. Again, I'll link my strong cryptos of 2022. These ones aren't pulling back as hard. So watch that video. It's really, really informative, really helpful. But until then, everyone, have a good weekend. Stay safe, and I'll catch you on the next video.